What are the different parts of the cruise ship? Elaborate them one by one. The first is port side, the left side of the ship. Starboard side, the right side of the ship. FWD is front side. AFT, rear side. Superstructure. A superstructure is an upward extension for an existing structure above a baseline. Anchor. The anchor is made of metal and attached to the ship by heavy chains. An anchor is used to keep the ship in place while waiting to the dock. A funnel. Funnel is the smokestack or chimney in a ship used to expel boiler steam and smoke or engine exhaust. All exhaust funnels are direct towards the AFT of the ship to avoid interfering with navigation. Stern. The stern is the back or AFT most part of a ship or boat. Propeller and rudder. Propeller helps ships to move forward. These propellers are similar to an airplane's propeller, except that the fluid here is water and there is air. A ship's propeller can have different level of pitch and anywhere from 3 to 6 blades. The ship's rudder allows the ship to steer itself to the left and right when in operation. A rudder must be able to move 35 degrees to port side and starboard side to function safely. Bulbous bow. A bulbous bow is protruding bulb at the bow or front of a ship just below the waterline. The bulb modifies the way the water flows around the hull, reducing drag and thus increasing speed, range, fuel efficiency, and stability. Bow. The bow is the forward part of the hull of a ship or boat. A bow needs to be tall enough to avoid easy contact with the water and it must be designed to produce least drag possible. Deck. A deck is a permanent covering over a compartment or a hull of a ship. On a boat or ship, the primary or upper deck is the horizontal structure that forms the roof of the hull, thereby holding the hull together, strengthening it, and serving as the primary working surface. Hull. The hull of a ship is the most notable structural entity of the ship. To define the hull, it can be said that is the watertight and closure of the ship, which protect the cargo, machinery, and accommodation spaces of the ship from weather, flooding, and structural damage. Keel. The main structural member and backbone of a ship or boat, running longitudinally along the center of the boat bottom of the hull from stem to stern. It may be made of timber, metal, or other strong, stiff materials. Cruise ship will not be allowed to sail without conducting safety drills for guests and safety protocols, training for crew members. Safety during embarkation. Every cruise line will have varying procedures when it comes to health and safety on board. But it's important to note one thing they all have in common is embarkation safety drills. Once you board your ship, and even prior to this some cases, you will receive a booklet informing you about safety on board and what to do in the event of emergency. Medical facilities on board. Cruise lines are equipped with medical centers on board, which are staffed by qualified doctors and nurses. Should you need any kind of medical attention while on board, you can visit the medical center, which will be open 24 hours a day to cater to all guests and crew members. Staff and safety. Every crew member will undergo regular and advanced safety training, include how to use a lifeboat and how to react in an emergency situation so that they can assist passengers in the quickest and most efficient way possible. Cruise lines also employ security officers who are there to provide reassurance that the cruise line is alert to potential dangers. and have qualified people on hand should an incident occur on board. Each cruise ship should be staffed with a safety officer. It's the person's role to ensure that all safety regulations are upheld by the rest of the staff on board. MSC Cruise Line, for example, will conduct a general emergency drill with for stimulation and evacuation, including an abandoned ship drill with lifeboats every week. Children and safety. Even though cruise ships are only so big with only a certain number of places to go on board, we recommending escorting your children around on board. This includes dropping them off and picking them up from the kids club and being aware of their whereabouts while on the open areas of the ship. For the safety of everyone on board, what do you need to have get on and get off the ship? How do you call it? Before departure, due to safety reasons, we perform random checks of passengers, vehicle, and baggage prior to departure. All guests, except children accompanied by adults, must bring proof of identity, example, passport. Refusing to comply with this guideline can result in denial of boarding without any refund. Gas containers. The main inlet for gas are on caravans, motorhome, etc. must be closed before driving on board, and during the voyage, the access to the gas container must be kept unlocked so the container can easily be removed in case of fire. Please mark the door or valve where the container is placed to confirm that it is closed. Oxygen for private medical use is allowed. Guests who require oxygen have to provide their equipment and supply as there is only a limited supply on board. Contact our customer service center for more information and declaration. Guests who are traveling with firearms must have to contact Color Lines Customer Service Center for more information and declaration. For guests using syringe for medical purposes, insulin, etc., we can provide secure containers for disposal of syringe. Please contact the reception on board. Thank you for your consideration. Is it not allowed to use electrical appliances other than the standard fittings in cabins or all elsewhere on board? No fire or flames allowed. Strollers and wheelchairs may not be placed in the corridor on board due to the need for clear escape of routes. Who provides safety protocol of the ship? The principal regulation governing maritime safety. What are the information written in a blue card? You will find your department number, your crew alert position, and crew alert duties. Inside the blue card, you will find a summary of the action to perform in the event of emergency. Explain ways of fire prevention. Avoid unattended or careless use of candles. No open flames are allowed inside any Tufts University building. Keep barbecue grills at least 10 feet from the house. Never store the grill with the propane tank inside your house. Propane vapors are heavier than air, and any leak of the gas would travel down to ignition source such as pilot light or electrical, etc. That would initiate an explosion that would be fatal to anyone inside the house. Do not disable smoke or code detectors. These are life-saving devices that will give you an early warning to a life-threatening event. Carbon monoxide is an odorless, colorless, and tasteless gas that is the most abundant deadly byproduct of fire. Tampering, covering, disabling for detection device is a criminal offense, punishable by imprisonment and a fine and university disciplinary action. Do not smoke indoors. Smoking is prohibited in all Tufts University building. Smoking will result in the removal of the offender from campus housing. Do not leave your cooking unattended. Cooking is the #1 cause of residential fires. Unattended cooking increases the chance of a stove-top fire. Watch what you heat and never overheat cooking oils. Should a flash fire occur in a pan, carefully slide a cover over the pan to smother the fire. Do not move it to the sink or apply water to it. This will cause the flaming oil to splash and spread the fire to surround areas. How do you react if you discover a fire on board? When the fire alarm sounds in your building, immediately evacuate the building to the outside. Never go back to the retrieve personal belongings. Move away from the front of the building to allow the firefighters and their trucks to access the building. If there is an incident on the upper floor, the area underneath is the hazard zone, and that is where you will be injured and falling glass and debris. What are the 4 types of fire extinguisher, color, and what do kind of the fire it extinguish? ABC powder fire extinguisher. An ABC powder extinguisher has numerous advantages as it is a multi-purpose extinguisher and is therefore one of the most common extinguisher to have on hand. 2. The carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. A carbon dioxide fire extinguisher is one of the cleanest types of extinguisher to use as it leaves no residue and requires no cleanup. Wet chemical fire extinguisher. The wet chemical extinguisher is specialized type primarily focused on a class K fires, those involving cooking media such as animal and vegetable fats or oils. Water mist fire extinguisher. The most versatile of the set, the water mist extinguisher uses a newer technology that works across most classes of the fire. 5. The foam fire extinguisher. This spray a type of foam that expands when it hits the air and blankets in the fire. This blanket prevents the vapor from rising on the liquid to feed the fire, thus starving it of fuel. Also, because the foam is mixed with the water and it has cooling effect as well. Clean agent fire extinguisher. A clean agent fire extinguisher is a type of gaseous fire suppression stored in its liquid form. When it's sprayed and hits the air, it converts to its gas form, which is non-conductive, safe for use while humans are present. Leaves no residue and has a very short atmospheric lifetime, making it eco-friendly. How do you react when crew alert duty is sounded? What unit to bring? General alarm should be sounded. Bridge team should be informed. Fire party should be mastered. The fire should be isolated by closing the ventilation system, skylights, doors, boundary, cooling, etc. Before entering the fire space, crew should wear the appropriate PPE and use the proper fire extinguishing system regarding the type of fire. Interested parties should be notified. What is muster station? A muster drill is a mandatory safety exercise with the object to familiarize all guests and crew with the location, where they are to assemble to the unlikely event of an emergency. During this drill, additional safety information is presented. What are the different life-saving appliances on board on the ship? What are your conclusions? Lifeboats are the most basic and mundane equipment on board. Davit system are using for hoisting, lifting, and storing lifeboats so they can stay secure at all times but can be easily removed when necessary. There are various types of davits, including side-on davits, slaying davits, switch-on davits, lift-up davits, etc., along with assorted accessories such as hoists, cranes, hooks, and more. Rescue boat are used to rescue people from drowning near the shore or in the deep sea. Rescue boats are rigid, inflatable, or hybrid structure with a minimum length of 3.8 millimeters. can capacitate 6 people, 5 seated and 1 lying down. Line showing appliances are used to project a from the boat to the person overboard or from the one boat to another and pull the object in distress to safety.